I'm starting to think we have more going on in this scene than you're going to see in the traditional art world. I mean, I look at art news sometimes, barely ever actually, and do they have as much going on? It's an interesting question. Look at all the personalities we have out here. Weirdly enough, in Twitterland, Artist Journal, September 15th, 2023, broadcasting to the world on the high seas of the imagination, deep in inner space, on a beautiful, sparkling, shiny, sunny sea. We're still in summer, my friends. We are still in summer, so let's celebrate that. And there's another reason to celebrate. It is Friday. So welcome back. My name is Adrian Pocobelli, and we're continuing here with this astonishing Niagara of beauty that is coming across my desk on a daily basis here. It is hard to keep up with. This ideal of keeping the show to 20 or 30 minutes seems like an unrealistic ideal at this point. Happily, though, I happily do this because we should be incredibly grateful to really be able to participate, not only to you know, it's one thing is to, you know, like grunge in the 90s, let's say. I kind of got interested after Kurt Cobain committed suicide. That's when I started to actually really take Nirvana seriously, unfortunately. So not only do we get to observe it, but by virtue of the technology, this internet-based technology, we are able to participate. And we have seen artists start. You know, look at Islay. You know, who we're gonna, you know, see some more technique. And maybe Ilay's done work before, I don't know, but we've seen several artists really just kind of get started with digital art, and before you know it, they're selling stuff, they're doing stuff, they're in, you know, look at Ilay's with Unit London in Claire Silver's exhibition. So there is just, you just have to be grateful for that, and the fact that it's Friday. So look who's back. Rare is back, and I was wondering where, you know, where's Rare was what I was starting to wonder. I even put notifications on my Twitter. I was like, maybe I'm just missing all of Rare's tweets. I think maybe there was a bit of a break. So there is a new one here. Unfortunately, I do not know the source. This is, again, pastiche. We learned really, we kind of drilled down on the definition of pastiche in a previous episode with Rare's work, because of course, pastiche, one of the things it does, it's actually a pretty loose definition if you ask me, and we can return to that definition. Let's make a mental note to return to that definition, because a lot of us who saw that episode, including myself, it's always good to refresh this stuff. And so pastiche, as far as we're understanding it, one of the kind of main definitions we could say is taking a work or style, like basically what I'd say loosely appropriating another work, but really transforming it and making a commentary. And so here we see what looks like, again, I don't know the source, what looks like maybe a 18th or 19th century painting. Again, you see almost the sepias are, you can almost see the sepias in the original, the underpainting, you know, that academic style, as we've been pointing out. You can tell this seems to be like, it almost looks like a British 18th century painting, maybe early 19th century painting. I guess we'll find out. Hopefully, usually Rare will post the sources here. And so, you know, and probably with a dog or a hound or something, whatever they called it back then. And of course, the Boston Dynamics dog, which always provides this beautiful contrast, kind of like the bright yellow dog. And you know, Rare didn't even overdo it. Like, you don't need to, in a sense, that yellow. Like, it's strong enough of a contrast that it really, all of the paintings just kind of pop, as they like to say in the graphic design business. Does it pop? Can you make it pop? All of these works just kind of pop because you have this kind of bright yellow dog, quote-unquote dog, in them. And so just making them work. It's beautifully rough, I want to add, too. Like, this is a little rougher than... I was going to say no pun intended, but that's just terrible. It's a little rougher. And so, but it is a little, you know, it's beautifully rough, is how I would put it here. This wonderful, again, I think we see Procreate I was looking at Rare's Twitter feed, and back in the cafe, and actually we'll see him working on the lips of this piece, of this woman here in this piece, working on the reflection. So look at how wonderfully kind of loose, as my friend would say. Loose is kind of a less, rough can sound judgmental, and it's not meant to. So loose is what my friend always says. And I'm like, yeah, that works beautifully. Look at this too. I mean, just like a lot of actually contemporary painters, what you'll notice to keep things interesting on a technical level, they'll often mix, more than one color into the brush. You'll often see that with like contemporary painters just to keep the paint interesting. It just adds, and it's not just straight out of the color. It creates this gradient, this randomness, and everything. So interestingly, you almost see it here. I imagine you have to put it in separately, but you never know with the technology these days. And I mean separately, like you put one color, let's say in Procreate, and then you start mixing it in. And I assume you just blend it in. There's that rub, like it's like the finger on Procreate. That's probably being employed, perhaps. Perhaps. I mean, it's one of their main tools. Look at how wonderfully loose this is. So you gotta love it. Look at how just kind of quick this is. It's beautiful, isn't it? Look at this. I mean, this looks like, this is as satisfying over here as like the quote unquote real deal that you're gonna see in 18th century paintings. And I start to even wonder, is this more satisfying? It's kind of like sometimes AI brushwork looks even better. The splashes. We're talking to Clown Vamp. And part of what's going on with AI art and, like, say, Midjourney, as far as I understood Clown Vamp, you can listen to the spaces. It's in the Twitter feed that we did this Wednesday. But it basically, when you're using Midjourney, you can put a happy face, or you can choose, you get 4 images when you put in a prompt or combine images, you get 4 results, and then you select one. So this starts to train the algorithm. So this is probably why, or train the AI is perhaps a better way of putting it. And this is why the splashes of the, I suspect, of, we're seeing better paint strokes. It's probably because the AI is getting trained to make better paint strokes. So again, it's kind of back to that, U2 echoes in my mind here, even better than the real thing. That is the question here. So that's just kind of a grand aesthetic question as you start to look at this. And just a final kind of point of perhaps irony or just conceptual point. Don't forget, I think, and I am not a Heidegger expert, but I remember being in a lecture and some professor was saying, it was Michael Pellet out of the University of Saskatchewan. I think he came out of the University of Chicago, talking about Heidegger. You want distance. Sometimes you need distance. And it's easy to forget that this is a technology emulating a physical brush. Very simple, but we're so close to it. We see, of course, that's my brushes and everything. We take it for granted. But, that also kind of resonates in my mind as we're looking at these gorgeous brushworks. Don't forget, this is a digital emulation of a physical brush. And we're okay with that. I'm okay with that. Why wouldn't you be okay with that? Look at this. Look at this beautiful painting. Wouldn't you want this one of one? So we'll see. Maybe it'll be an addition. I guess we'll find out. Just really cool work. And again, I just love this looseness here. So gorgeous work here from Rare. Just finished this one. I wasn't sure if it was a new one. So it looks like it is September 15th, just finished this one. I haven't seen one for a while. I may have missed some, but I was looking on the Super Rare and the Foundation. I didn't see anything. And here, in the last few months, and here, look at this. Isn't this great? So you almost see the source here, kind of nicely done here. And here, this is the tool I was telling you about, the smudge tool. We don't see it being employed here. The brush is being highlighted. But you see how fun and the interpretation going on here. So just really cool and fun and interesting. And here, look at this, another little clue. See the opacity? It's like, so, another clue for us here. as we go through as we sail through the pirate ship of the mind, through the high seas, as we sail the high seas of the imagination here is what I'm trying to say. There was a new comment here, Jeremy Austin, that I wanted to highlight from a couple of shows ago. I saw the Warhol banana piece exhibited at a recent exhibition. It was really special to see it alongside his screen prints. The show was called Pop Masters Art from the Mugrabi Collection. I feel like I've seen that in the news, and featured Andy Warhol, Keith Haring, Basquiat, Catherine Bernhardt, Kwesi Botchway, not sure who that is, George Condo, Damien Hirst, Cause, Joel Mesler, Richard Prince, Julian Schnabel, who I have met briefly. That's the great thing about Berlin, is you actually do sometimes meet some of these people. Micheline Thomas and Tom Wesselman, if they're still alive, all masters of the arts. A beautiful show, and must see if it travels to a gallery you can visit. So I would love to see that kind of in the flesh, so to speak, on a screen big. I'd love to see just how they displayed that banana piece. You know, we've seen Warhol so much that now if I see a digital banana, then I'm like, oh, this is fresh, this is different, this is new. Particularly in the context of the last year of us, you know, this show's been going for about 13 months, let's say, in this kind of 13-month, you know, study here that we've been doing. Many of us, and big shout out to everybody who has participated for that long. I see you out there and I have your names in my head as I speak here. It is interesting to come back to a work like Warhol or Haring's digital artwork with all the digital artwork and conversation we've had, and then see it. And then you go, that banana is freaking gorgeous, that Warhol did. Like, and you see it right away. And again, as Xerox was pointing out, it didn't necessarily appear that way on the screen. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they appreciated the aesthetics as pixel art as we might today in this second generation of digital art, as I like to call it. Another comment here from Lorna Mills. And this is great. Binge watching again, so of course I'm a week late. To your point about third parties minting on behalf of the artist, I think a representative of a dead artist's estate can have that power. Most artists I know with a significant exhibition career will delegate an executor just for their art output. I was appointed by a friend to make sure that her work is donated to good. And was that? I thought there was more here in this. So all to say, Lorna Mills has no problem with it. So I wonder, though, if in blockchain world, in NFT land, if the wallet minting function matters. Is it the equivalent of the artist signing the work or putting, you know, that kind of certificate of authenticity? So I'm kind of, you know, super conservative. Again, I feel like it's a slippery slope if we start going beyond the artist. And so my middle ground here is, I'm kind of back to this, the Keith Haring Foundation can mint it as the Keith Haring Foundation. And then if I buy that work, I'd almost pay more for it than if it's minted as Keith Haring, where I just think, well, that's not Keith Haring. So, but that's just me, you know. Again, if like the person that owns the Salvatore Mundi, you know, mints it as whoever the organization is, or if the Louvre mints the Mona Lisa as the Louvre, and then say, okay, we're going to put out like a edition of sorts. Well, maybe that's, you know, the more legit it feels. But if they just do it as Leonardo, then it starts to feel like inauthentic. So it's an interesting debate. But I think the basic principle, which I was trying to get out last episode, is whoever mints it should be identified as the minter. That is the principle I am kind of zeroing in on here. That in a sense, to mint for someone else is maybe, it's just too slippery of a slope. And so if you're going to be the foundation, then you mint as the foundation. If you're going to be the executor of the will, then maybe you mint as the executor of the will for that person. And then it's just what it is, right? And I think it saves a lot of headaches by being super simple and a little bit conservative on the kind of who is allowed to, or who is legitimate in minting. Continuing on, Rural Idol. So many thoughts about this exhibition, but it sure looks pretty. So here it is. actually, and it sure does look pretty. I assume these are screens here. It sure does look pretty. I mean, look at this. Are they screens? These look like prints. And it would be really interesting to see, and even the size, right? So, again, did Keith Haring say they should be this size? I doubt it. So, there is interpretation along the way, interestingly. And these look like they're on a screen. And look at that gorgeous Warhol. Looks kind of cropped on the screen, interestingly. I could be wrong about that. So, all to say, you know, we can, as artists, we can take away what we like out of this, though, which is like, I don't even think, like, I suspect Xerox is right, that these weren't even really seen in the same way that we're seeing them now, that this is maybe smoother and all that. But we can still look at this and learn and go, even if they didn't intend it that way, we can still take away stuff that they didn't intend, right? And I think that's cool, okay, and actually a good idea. And thank you, Rural Idol, for posting the spaces in here. I appreciate that. And also, so comments from last episode. Make renders. Appreciate the feature of my first piece on Foundation. So excited that it also got a bid so quickly. Congratulations, Mick. That is awesome. The piece itself is a kind of modern retro imagining of what a system digitizing human consciousness might have looked like. Very cool. You know, it's almost like back to that idea of simultaneous narrative, where I'm going to have to look up who that 15th century painter in Italy who has the St. Peter's, and it's one big landscape, but there's St. Peter on the left, there's St. Peter in the middle, and then like it's like a cycle of a story. And I believe we call that simultaneous narrative when it's basically in one landscape. And you could see something analogous going on in your work here, which could be used as kind of an analogy for the different narratives in our head for consciousness, to your point. Bulls. Love seeing Mr. Suksu in here. His works just made me think of Care Bears and kind of bring me joy. There is something kind of oddly wonderful about those works, oddly playful and actually kind of bold. Thanks once again for your show. I admire your relentless curiosity. Well, I can't help myself, and I appreciate that. Actual CT, great show. I want a pen plotter machine now. Always thought about trying to mod a 3D printer or something. So do I. So do I. So do I. So let's see. If you find a good one, let me know. I think people were saying AxiDraw. This is something we should figure out, actually. If people know good ones, good starter pen plotters, or around the $1,000 range, or something that can get you started, do let me know, or feel free to write a comment. And Sid, I think that might be Cider, not sure. That Marcelo Pinel piece is crazy good. Wow. Yeah, Marcelo Pinel, as I like to call him, the heir to Alex Gray. Alex Gray might agree with it. Actually, Alex Gray, I mean, Marcelo Pinel made a big deal because Alex Gray was following him like 6 months ago. He's like, I can't believe Alex Gray is following me. I'm not surprised at all, actually. So some more details here. I was saying to Ile how I loved this piece here, and we got some more details. Thank you so much. I'm really cheered up to know that's so cool. As you can see, I draw this in dpaint.org. So very cool. That looks like Deluxe Paint website that's just open for people to use, where there's only one undo option. Hasdrubal was saying how he loves how there's very limited sort of things you can do. I start with a line drawing against the black without a plan just to see, and then I liked it. And I thought it will probably not look better. Then this, if I'm more deliberate, but your figure was positioned more central than the YouTube show framing. Then I took this to the Pixelmator to add the cover. And this is a great program. I have it on the iPhone. I've had it on the iPhone for a long time. It makes really special kind of pixels, square, just big chunky pixels that are weirdly harder to make than you'd expect. And it does lots of stuff. It's a cool software, Pixelmator on the phone. Then I took this to Pixelmator to add the cover and decided to use Pixel Paint, but I also like the spontaneous plain line sketch. So exporting, in other words, or using a couple of different softwares. And she just did a wonderful job here. So thank you, Ile. And guess what else Ile did? a testament to how cool this scene is. After the show yesterday transferred this piece that Ile probably could have got $70 for US and transferred it over to me. So a wonderful gift, Ile. Thank you. Beautiful gift. Epic. Thank you. Thank you. I was very pleasantly surprised to see that there. I couldn't believe it, actually. Tater Tots. Preparing some friendly surprises, work in progress art. So doesn't this look interesting? Kind of interesting. I like the size, actually. The scale is interesting on some nice paper, and this looks like really nice. It's probably inkjet. There's almost like texture you can see in this under, like this beige here, but maybe that's just reflection of some kind. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? For inkjet. I mean, it looks a little less boring than inkjet often does. I rarely use inkjet on its own because it's just a little flat or something. That looked great though, so maybe it's a paper issue, and maybe that's not just inkjet. Eloy is, so we saw that awesome Lego work the other day with the Lego figure with the palette and everything. Eloy is going to be on Twitch. I will lay the foundations for a new diary page. It will be live on air in case you want to follow my steps as I walk with pen and paper accompanied by music, linked below. So that is very cool. And I think, to me, this is kind of like the future, or the present, really, is like artists streaming and this sort of thing. You see it with Ed Marola, which I'm very excited about. I've done it. One warning, one huge warning if you use Twitch. I actually recommend YouTube because they don't erase your videos. Twitch, like my whole style that I developed, that I had a breakthrough while I was using Twitch, and nobody was watching. It was like one person maybe, and they'd come on and off, and maybe it was like my own, screen watching it. Who knows? But I had a huge breakthrough with, say, the Screen Memories Related Images series, where I came up live with this technique that I still use today of these masks that make, and I figured out how to do it live, and I had the video, and I thought, oh, this is so incredible. What an awesome, and for me personally, to figure out how to do and what I was doing and how I got that beautiful result, for what I considered a beautiful result. Twitch deletes your videos after 30 days, and I didn't know that. So just so you know, so if I was to stream today, I would simultaneously stream to YouTube at the minimum, just because they don't get erased as far as I know. So just a heads up there. Killer Acid, there we go. Killer Acid, so just with, I think this is quite interesting. So opening the store, and then here you see like a schedule, which is pretty interesting. And kind of what's interesting about this, you could call this marketing, but really it's just informing people. There's no like buy now, right? So this is also, we're discussing like, works in progress as a form of marketing, but I don't mind this. This is just like informing people out there, hey, if you're interested, Killer Acid Frogs, edition of 30, this is how much they are. Claimable signed print, and also claimable signed print, so also doing the physical here. Today's drop is an edition of 30 and 2 one-of-ones, 24-hour auctions with time extension. All come with claimable prints and originals. Read the info below. So this is also pretty cool, a play on the persistence of memory here. So Killer Acid is really going for it. And look at how great this looks too. So, and it's almost like a triptych. And there is the website. I didn't know there was .fun. That is cool too. Continuing on, Glitchcraft. So this is Eurydice, and they saw Sabato's work. This is in Boston, Massachusetts, at a show called Glitchcraft at Simmons Gallery. And here you see the artists here. There is Sabato, and here is the show. See if there is no sound. So cool retro monitors, kind of, and there is the Sabato show, and yeah, you see it works from the Chrome period here. So pretty cool. Nice documentation here. The Liquid Halls of Modernity, and looks like a pretty nice show, doesn't it? Looks like an exciting show. So all very cool here, and then just some classics here, Milk and Cookies by Sabato. So just really cool here. And there's Eurydice. And I think there's a picture. This is great documentation, by the way. Not sure who this is. And, oh, that looks like Sabato. the dolphin there. So pretty cool show here. And yeah, old retro TVs. Looks like a lot of fun. And there they are, Sabato and Eurydice. So very cool. Fornax Void. Now here is kind of like a commercial of sorts. Tomorrow, my 2009 debut album, Memory Machine, will be released on double vinyl on Motherboard. Music video premiere on YouTube on September 15th. That is today. And visual album premiere on YouTube. So check this out, visual album. So Fornax Void continues to interest. Let's see if we can...
A lost fragment from the past comes back to life.
Beautiful ad.
From a simpler time, created during the dying days of the early web.
I bet Fornax Void made this ad, and it's better than most ad agencies, I would argue.
Debut album, Memory Machine, on double vinyl, on motherboard.com.
Seriously.
Comes back.
Seriously, like, these transitions, these, this part here, like, again, if a lot of these people could run their own kind of, and you can do it more and more with ChatGPT, you run your own ad agency. A lot of these people, and why would you if you're already making this gorgeous art? But you see what I'm saying? Like, this is cool. This is kind of like, you could see the ad agencies coming later and appropriating other people. So very, very, very cool. Imagine you saw an ad like this on like NFL football, if that's what you watch, or soccer or whatever. I'd be pretty impressed. Speaking of being impressed, check this out. We'll look at the artist in a second here.
Oh, hey. So, the key to success is... Did you get it?
Like, I love it. I absolutely love this. I wish I had a copy. There is an edition of 5. It is selling for 1,000 Tezos. Wait till you see who bought it. This is someone called Daniris. And I think I saw this maybe on Fornax Void. Yeah, Fornax. Look at who bought this. Haiti Rocket, Fornax Void, Mason the Third, who we're going to look at today, I believe, Spiegel's Meskinen, and I think this is Eurydice here. Eurydice. So all-star cast here, 10 Tezos only. Awesome piece from Daniris. Key to success. Just a really cool, fun work. Speaking of which, guess who's back? It is Kappen in the form of Figments, this time with Lumbusk. And of course, Kappen came out of the music scene before he realized he had this incredible talent to make digital art. Guru Meditation. Let's get this going. Again, the music is just so solid from my perspective out of this scene. We're not going to be able to play the whole thing, but we can let the music soak. We can soak up the music for a few seconds here. Really moving. Look at how beautiful this is when it takes up the full screen like this. I mean, and these wonderful horizontal lines that we see here. It almost really captures that kind of retro computer vibe, like the emotion of that. Sounds like a 303 or something. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So that is Lumbusk with the incredible music and Figments. It's another masterpiece here. I don't want to use that term too loosely, but I mean, this is awesome. I mean, this will cost you $9.86. There's 20. Like, I should run and get one while I can. There's 2 left. Incredible, and another gorgeous work here. My pixels will become paint. This is RJ, the text in the shell prophecy. So returning to RJ's roots here with the text in the shell. This was the first series I, know that RJ has done. I came to the scene after he had already started and almost ended that series. It is back. Where, the text in the ghost in the machine, my pixels will become your paint, returning to this theme here. Here's a nice black and white version. Super cool. Edition of 10 for 25 Tezos each, and there are 7 left. Really, really cool. The text in the shell. Spugels is back with another what looks like on-chain work. In other words, it doesn't point to IFPS. This is a native work on the Ethereum blockchain, requires no external link. So as far as I understand, it looks like it's in that series. A homage to Lubomir Romankiw, co-inventor of the magnetic hard drive, sold to Nextroy. So just another super cool work. I saw one go to Pablo Pancasso with what looked like 0.2 ETH. So just really cool work here. More awesome music. Check this out. This is Max Capacity, Open Edition. I think I saw this in Haiti Rockette's collection. Great music. It's Friday. Just fun and cool. Gotta love it. You know, it's Berlin Art Week here. I was out last night, and actually last night was awesome. My friend Charlie Stein. I should bring up pictures of that maybe next episode. I took pictures. They're on my Instagram if you ever want to see the going out sort of stuff here in Berlin. I put them in the stories. So all to say, this is just really fun. Really fun art. N0813, Neofoam and Max Capacity. So maybe a collaboration here. Only 7 minted, 11 days to go, 5 Tezos. So $3.29 for that awesome work. You know, I was actually listening to that song. I almost want to do it with this. And I was just thinking how cool this scene is. Like, look at how cool this is. And then, I mean, this looks like the music video. Anyway. Awesome work here from Kurt Hustle Collective. A new one. These very small editions of 5. Again, going to a pretty cool cast here. There's Haiti Rocket, 50 Tezos. Continuing with these kind of sumo wrestler guys on DBO Sports. Sumo Arcade. So it's almost like Mortal Kombat meets sumo wrestlers. Super cool here. 1/900, 1997, 900. This is an ad. This is an ad that I thought was brilliant. Alio, so I'm not even sure what this is. Some sort of ZK roll-up or something. Look at this ad. It looks great.
Your data is secure.
Yeah, like, just look at the visuals here. And we're kind of back to this idea of the ad agency. You know, how, like, this looks like it could be, like, a really awesome NFT right there. Like the handshake, for example. And like, it's brilliantly designed here. And I really could see the advertising world, like if you're a creative director or art director and you're starting to see this stuff, you're going, this is exciting, this is fun, this is cool. And it wouldn't shock me to see that, you know, here we are, that the artists are, you know, paving the way. It wouldn't be shocking for me that this is where we're going to see it, basically in this NFT digital art scene. It's a very vibrant scene here. Pixel Air. And I believe this is a play on the Pixies here. Tons of music this episode, I should tell you. A Friday episode here.
Trust me.
Pixel Rare, I think. Sounds like the Pixies. My neighbors are going to freak out. It sounds like the Pixies. Kind of remixed by Pixel Rare here. So, very cool work here. Edition of 3. It's probably out the door, just one gone. Edition of 3 for 20 Tezos. So cool work here. And you can see the rest. So again, a lot of things converging here. Music videos, music, pixel art, advertising. It's all very interesting. What do they call it? The, what is that thing at the end of time? It starts with an E. Not the maybe it'll come to me. How am I escaping that? It's also a Neoplatonic term. And Terence McKenna loved it. I'm sure someone will know it out there. And here's Ugo, back with a play on what looks like that video game with that I'm also blanking on. Grand Theft Auto. There we go. San Andreas. And here is just another super... So, of course, Ugo did the horse, and it did spectacularly. And here is a brand new one referencing their Grand Theft Auto. So another kind of interesting mix of pixelation here, and whatever this process is that Ugo's doing, that just looks awesome. Continuing on, that is on Zora. Mason the Third with a new work. So Mason the Third has put out some incredible glitch ROMs in the past. Animorph Software, ROM Corruption, and Hex Edit. This is Game Boy Color. So pretty cool here, just kind of simple. Nice kind of not too many colors, which also works. This is 8 Tezos, and there are 6 left. Silva Santus with a couple. Guittare Pomodori, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. And here you see almost what looks like a zoomed in glitch ROM. So interesting crop here. Playing with the scale a little bit. So that is interesting. And here's another one, again, playing with the crop. Horses, Battle Jockey. And this was interesting. Kind of looks like a unicorn that turns into a knight's horse. That turns into a cowboy. So it's almost like this is the video game, is it's a horse in all these different contexts, seemingly. Interesting. Horses, great title. Continuing on, Low Trippy with a 1 of 1. So we saw a similar work, but this one has a different background here with the clouds. Zero our hero. So Low Trippy putting out a 1 of 1 is at auction for 25 Tezos. I believe Mick Renders has put in the bid here. So another interesting pixel art piece. Let's just take a look. Yes, 25 Tezos still up for auction. And Stippen Pixel with a new one, a very fun one too here on Zora. This is an edition of 5 for 0.02 ETH, so some cool pixel art here. It'll be interesting to see if how 1 of 1s might do on Zora as well. So let's actually zoom in a bit. So there we go. And again, this really nice pixelation here. So Stippen Pixel having a ton of fun here on Zora. As is Mick Renders, who we just saw bidding on that other work. So another cool piece. Again, Mick Renders was at the top of the page there just the other day with the spinning head. And so this is called Mixzorb Motional. Mixzorb Motional Sad Wave. So this is Sad Wave. So cool work here. 2 minted, 13 days to go. Looks like an open mint here. And here's P1 with almost what looks like a stained glass cathedral here. If you've ever, I think the greatest stained glass is in Paris. There's a incredible, it's more of a chapel than a cathedral, and it's basically floor to ceiling stained glass. If you've never seen that, you have to go. It's very close to Notre Dame, just down the street, really. If you ever get the chance, kind of reminds me of that. It kind of very much has a stained glass feeling. Interesting analogy, and also, what do they call it? Words escape me today. Where that ancient, where you put colored stones, mosaic. You know, mosaic, pixelation. Here's a little bit of stained glass and that repetitive pattern. Just kind of interesting analogs here. Loacme with gallery data. Window 0, and I believe this is on the homepage of Object. So just a cool pixel art piece, animated abstract pixel art, black and white, from Loacme. I think pretty low edition of 10, selling out at 25 Tezos each, pretty good. And here it is, part of the Tramage exhibition at Data Gallery. So cool work there. And here's Pamelo Serrano, Me Los Dias, and this is 0.009, and this is a music work as well, so kind of a combination. Look at how cool that artwork is, though, inside. So a ton of music today. Really nice music, too. I see a commonality in the music style between all of these artists. Like, they all would play well at the same party. This Tezos party in my mind on the pirate ship. So simple and beautiful. 5-minute song. I mean, you can mint like long works on Zora. So just awesome. Brilliant, brilliant. So 0.09 ETH. It looks like an open edition. Here is that work I was trying to load up yesterday. Let's see if it loads up today. This is on sound.xyz, also Pamelo Corone. Same cool style. It's almost like the Sonic equivalent of the art, right? Of this kind of pixel art, retro. Like, it's just taking all the best of this kind of old technology. There's even comments. I love it. The best of chill parties. So, super cool as we sail into Friday here, as we sail into the weekend. Brave with Explainer Gallery, a pioneer gallery here on the scene out of China. A place to come back. There's nothing like a place you love. Merchants also need a place to call yours. Pixel art on canvas. So, looks like, kind of looked like, at first I thought maybe this is like a homeless person's kind of spot on the street, but I think it might be something else. So I'm not exactly sure what this is, but a cool pixel artwork with a cool subject matter here. And because this looks like a room, like that doesn't look homeless. So I'm not sure exactly what this is. But interesting work here from Brave and Explainer. These are really cool too. Grotesque Chic, Golden Mirage. Look at this great dithering landscape here. It's like kind of like Yves Tanguy, but not. The color is really interesting. The size of the canvas, like the dithering size, is really nicely done. And this super interesting composition. And even down here, the dragging of the sampled brush. You see it over here. A very interesting landscape. Only 5 Tezos. 9 left. Unbelievable. I wonder if these are sold out at 10 Tezos. So let's look at this one. Golden Mirage. Another just super interesting. Kind of looks like a wheat field a bit, but not quite. And these beautiful big brushes that are dithered out. I love it. I absolutely love it. So 2190 by 1860 PNG bitmap. Mouse drawn on Deluxe Paint 2. So that is what happened there. Really great. Look at this. And we're going to have to pick up the pace a little bit as usual. This is Matias Morano with 3 editions. And I thought this was super interesting. This is the 1-of-1. This reminded me of Marvel Comics, actually. This is the 1-of-1 edition that is like a hologram version. It reminded me of Marvel Comics in the 90s, where they'd have the regular edition, then they'd do the hologram edition. Look at this. Really nicely done, too. So animates this one, the Resurrection here, really cool piece. And then we go here, and we see basically the static version with the edition of 31. And let me just see what they sold for on primary here. Accept offer of 70, so selling for quite a bit of money, selling for 100. That is impressive. And here you see the same work, but just like the static version, colored. And then here you get the ink version. And this is an edition of 12. I think it's quite brilliant. And, it's kind of, I'm not against this at all. It kind of gets me thinking on my own work. Because sometimes you have these kind of mixed feelings. How do you do it? I think this is quite brilliant. They all have their own kind of feel to it. They are distinct works. I see this as legit. It's hard to see this as illegitimate. I see this as legitimate, and I think it's cool, and I think kind of makes me want to do it. A very interesting way of kind of reusing a piece. They're completely different styles, right? They are different works. So again, we're kind of back to that theme, the tension of digital copies here. But are these copies? Continuing on, Imposter. Offers accepted. I wasn't exactly sure. I assume this is on Tezos somewhere. I didn't see it right away, so I just brought up the Twitter. Kind of a cool work here. Self-awareness. So again, looks like it uses ASCII or PETSCII text, and there is a little heart in there. So cool work there. Continuing on, of course, the artist Demon Ego. This is going to be on Zora, Beyond Words That Have Lost Their Function. And here you see the notebook and more. So just a cool combination of physical and digital here. Even looks like some photo here or scanning as Demon Ego was experimenting with. Let's keep going here. Rannox Deer, Time Bent. Continuing with these kind of abstracts that look, these figurative abstracts, I almost want to call them. And almost looking like AI distortions in here, but not sure about that. Time Bent. So cool title here. Edition of 6. and they are sold out at 5 Tezos each. Continuing on, Wasteman Goldminovich. Speaking of all the auctions here, here's the Christie's auction with Wasteman's work, and you know, like, crazy as it might sound, and maybe it is crazy, 20 years from now, one never knows. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of this series here of The Failed Artist. It's funny because it's funny because it's true oftentimes. Let's put it this way. So a deep satire there of the artist. To me, almost a timeless satire that Wasteman is doing here. That's why I keep coming back. Like, I love this series. I ended the show yesterday with this work. Yeah, it's a hilarious satire. And the artist making fun of themselves. It's quite brilliant. Sophie Agura, Market Bathing, not sure, but I thought it was really original what this title is. Let me just show you. And there is the market there. And I thought it was just a really original treatment here of this subject matter. You even see a glitch going through. Just interesting work here from Sophie Agura, edition of 15, and there are 3 Tezos 40, and there are 7 left. And more music. Tons of music. This is House of the Model with a really cool, like, 90s bass line here. Sounds like an edgy Primal Scream kind of track from like 93 or something. Even just the way this comes in, like all the best of the 90s. So totally awesome here. House of the Model, edition of 10,000 for 1 Tezos. If you have 65 cents to spare, I'm telling you, all the music goes well together, doesn't it? Kyle Flemmer with a few works. We're going to show a couple here. Senshi Ami. So some just cool kind of analog video glitch with some, what looks like a kind of Sailor Moon type of subject matter. It is Sailor Moon. Computer School Blues rescanned from a Zenith CRT TV, color corrected and reanimated in Photoshop. There's another one. These are editions of 10 and just not listed yet. And just kind of cool work for the walls of our Tezos party here. Totally awesome here. Walls of our digital art party. We are multi-chain over here, but all very cool. And a lot of it is on Tezos. Credit must be given where credit is due. Ex-Mortal with a very cool flamingo work here. Also on Object with these great outlines here. These very warm outlines here. Great subject matter. Nice kind of traces here of these flamingos. Just a really beautiful work. Title, Recall. Special mint for the DOS Punk Stow. So that is cool. Continuing on with the analog video glitch, we have LB on Zora. Look at this. So this is Cat in Motion, really reminiscent of, I think it's Edward Muybridge. We will look on another episode, but this one's going long as well, so we'll leave it for another one, but really reminiscent of Edward Muybridge. And who was the other person? There were 2 people that did these kind of photographs. We will look in a future episode. So LB on Zora, it looks like a free mint, 3 minted so far. 15 days, you got some time, but don't take too long. DJ Kuro with an edition of 7. What does that say? Per talk? Not sure. As far as the ad, Kuro was telling me about the ad, but he said, I was watching it on an Xbox, the show, and that's why I saw, maybe that's why I saw the ad. I was watching YouTube on Xbox, so that is the only report I've gotten of an ad on this show. Continuing on, so beautiful work here, edition of 7, cool glitch, video analog glitch, and this is the collaboration between Ranextier and DJ Kuro, Momentary Lapse 33. Interesting title. And there are quite a few in this series, and Momentary Lapse 32, edition of 7, 3 Tezos. So cool works here, great combination, these two. And this is the work I was trying to load up yesterday, which kind of goes with that last work. Andre Gora, Deluge Melodies. I was trying to load this up yesterday on Super Rare. It wasn't loading. Really nice abstract here, isn't it? Beautiful digital abstract here. Awesome colors. Just beautiful work. Reserve of 0.4 ETH, so $657. Not cheap, but on Super Rare here, so very cool. Not crazy either. Boo Boy Summerwall number 2. So this is an edition that is part of a bigger series here, or think it's, I can't remember exactly, Boo Boy Summer Wall number 2. Anyway, let's look at the work. And you see this awesome illustration here, and it's part of an edition. So I believe you can still mint this out. And you see some cows here, and just classic Boo Boy edition. It's probably not too expensive. This was minted for 0.03 ETH, so not too crazy. And huge file, 7,000 by 10,000 on Foundation. I saw this, Tornado Rodriguez. My reactions arrived to solarplex.xyz. It makes you wonder, is Tornado going to be doing some sort of like PFP type thing, which would be great. Look at this. So clearly Tornado Rodriguez. So not exactly sure what's going on here. Something special just dropped on Solarplex. So maybe if you check out Solarplex, you'll see what Tornado is up to here. Pretty cool series. Also some interesting digital illustration, DeCracy Jeffroy. So this is back from the lockdown. I don't remember seeing it though. And I thought it was actually quite brilliant. You know, this really did kind of capture the lockdown where you basically lived your life indoors most of the time. You know, you're lucky if you had a balcony. That's for sure during lockdown. Luckily I had a balcony, but there's just like almost this hamster wheel. It was very true. Brilliant work. Continuing on. Dylan, with an interesting digital collage here, interestingly signed, by the way, because it looks almost like a written signature, boxing makepiece, but digital collage. So this is a 1 of 1 for 15 Tezos for the 1 of 1 collectors out there, FYI. And I think I brought up Dylan's page. Dylan has made some really brilliant works in the past. Look at this 1 of 1. This one's still available. I may pick this up while this show is uploading. Look at that. That is a 1 of 1 for 5 Tezos. $3. Incredible. Here's some more. There, I won't take all of them. Look at that. So just a cool, really cool artist. Again, probably off the radar if 1 of 1s are $5. And, you know, another discovery here as we sail through these massive oceans of digital art here, of digital imagery. Sky Goodman, The Life of Objects, with an awesome title here. Cool work. Classic, recognizable as Sky Goodman. And just a cool kind of digital artwork. Probably a lot of exporting as per usual. Animation Blender, 3D loop, geometry, 10-second loop, made with code, video feedback, and synthesis. So Sky Goodman, edition of 15 for 15 Tezos. As we wrap up here, look who's back, Yoain. So I hadn't seen Yoain for a while. This is also part of the Space World Showcase. I wonder if Boo Boy, that was maybe the showcase that Boo Boy was part of. So a new AI artwork. And I think this may be an addition as well. We'll look in a second. So cool AI work here. I think edited in Yoain's case and continuing to evolve and develop. Like it's not just, Yoain is not just staying with that one kind of palette here. Like it really is expanding. This came out September 11th. And this looks like a 1 of 1. Summer Bruises is the name of the work. AI and digital painting from Yoain. As we go into, we have quite a bit of AI artwork here. Soon with the new one. Post Rooms number 7, edition of 10 for 4 Tezos each. Just super interesting. Only AI would have made that. Tukes with a new work on Object, Hidden Horizon. Beautiful work here from Tukes. Kind of captures all the mystery of castle, medieval castle. This is 21 Tezos, edition of 15. Beautiful. Here's one that Tukes just put on Twitter. Just another super interesting work. And this is probably also AI. The sun should have been with me. Beautiful. Moonlight. We have poetry. We have art. We have music. We have it all. Moonlight by Etkin. And this kind of had a bit of a Magritte feel to it with these figures looking from behind. And just kind of emoted somewhat for me. I thought it's kind of interesting kind of image here. Edition of 5 for only 5 Tezos. And 5 are left. So you can still get that on Tezos from Etkin. Mopey Wellington with an interesting kind of animated AI-assisted SF10. So Crossing Paths, this is called. Kind of a turn of the century feel to it. Kind of 1920 kind of feel to it. And playing with animation a little bit. So that is interesting. Edition of 10. Couple of offers coming in, 20 and 30 Tezos, not bad at all. And Mikey Wilson with a work, Capadonna's Blues, Early Evening. I have a bit myself, Meetin'. And this is an edition of 15 for 10 Tezos. So continuing with the blues theme, but here we see a Wu-Tang Clan in the frame. You wonder if this is like a drum machine or something, but maybe this is food. Not exactly sure. But interesting in the big 10-gallon hat here. Hilarious, beautiful. I mean, is this AI? Look at how, like, is the beard? That's incredible. I wonder if this is like, again, raw AI and you get the beard like that. That is incredible. I mean, we can't forget, this is probably raw AI with prompts. I mean, that's pretty amazing. All that detail. Keeps being interesting. Paper doll here. AI, she is available on Object. So not sure I've ever seen this artist before, but I thought just an interesting relationship. I thought this painting in the background was really beautifully done. An interesting relationship, the painting and the painting relationship. So just an interesting work here from Paper Doll. And Howie Angler, who is an avid Tezos art collector and the proud owner of Tezos Art Collective and hosts the signature collection. So the person that has commissioned all of these works here, or requested, however you want to put them. I still need to make mine, and Howie has been super patient there. I may try and make it this weekend. I said I'd start today, so let's see. There's Retro Manny, but a brilliant kind of AI artwork here. There is mech.txt. And yeah, so just really cool edition of 125, but sometimes they burn them after a couple of days, so you might not have much time. 4 Tezos and 72 left. So get it while you can. Howie Angler Signature Collection, and White Solitude, kind of shifting gears a little bit with some boxing, painterly boxing works, and these are also AI. All right, Art AI Champion. So again, the painterliness, and here also playing like Mopey Wellington with animation and even audio. Pretty interesting. Just pretty interesting aesthetically. Like, what is this? This is like an AI video. It's almost like a GIF, but it's like a mini video. I've seen, it reminds me actually of some works that I want to bring up from an artist I haven't seen from for years, but who has made some really powerful works that I still deeply are impressed by. Shirley Preston, Looking for Signs of Alien Life. So more AI video, I think. So it's just interesting to see how this tech is working and see how artists are using it here. So this is a 13-second video. Interesting hat. So here comes AI video, right? Guy Fieri AI generated video. Very interesting. And here, some physical works. Baby Don't Leave Me Alone. So kind of a sad work here. Cake, watercolor on paper. This is by Bazak Kalazir. And just a really cool watercolor here. So a physical work. And another physical work here. I don't think I've shown this one before, but I've shown this artist many times. I love this artist. This is physical, as you can see here. I'm not exactly sure if this is screen printing or how it's done. And then you see just that epic contrast between the kind of the pixelation, which is, again, I don't know if it's screen printed or what, with this awesome, very soft. We saw this just the other day with Hasdrubal Waffles Boxer. This is the same contrast, just done differently. Super soft airbrush with hard geometric pixelation, right? Tim Lahan on Instagram. And of course, you recognize this as Walk with this iconic scene of Steve Jobs presenting the iPhone. I looked at this video a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, like the launch of the iPhone. And you see the genius of Steve Jobs' salesmanship. The build-up that he does, and then when he delivers it, just like a great DJ, leads, gets people interested, what are you talking about? And then boom, we've done it all and more. Brilliant. I love the subject matter here. This was a massive moment. And so there's Walk on the scene again, with a massive kind of pop culture moment. Remember Paparazzi from yesterday? Of course, you know the artist here, Joao Salazar, with again, and I don't think there's anything new. A lot of us have probably seen this. I think this has been around. I'm not sure. But just, you know, a scene that many of us in the big cities are familiar with. And that, my friends, is your show. Thank you for joining me again. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, take care.